talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.
Welcome back to another episode of Caged In. I'm your host, Chris DiCarlo. Got a very special guest making his return to the show. It's my man, Shameless Don Shainis. How we doing, brother?
Chris DiCarlo, hello. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I know you got a big fight coming up next Saturday night. So, I know you're right in the middle of fight camp right now. Glad you could take a little bit of time, get on the Zoom call and come talk to me, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude. Sorry about earlier. Fucking shuffling around dates and times, and like I was trying to get you in, and I'm like, fuck. I double booked myself here. Can't do this. Can't do this. Can't think. Driving. Pump, pump, pump. Fucking all over the place. But I'm glad we're getting it in now.
Of course, man. I always got time for you on the show, brother.
I think I'm sweating.
You
Fuck
just
it.
got home from training, man. That's just how it is. That's how it is. All right, man, let's get into it a little bit. Last time we talked was before Cage Titans 53. You were going for that featherweight title, something that you had sought after for quite some time in the regional scene. Looking back at that fight, man, you get it done in the first round TKO. How did it feel to finally get your hands on Cage Titans Gold, a promotion that you've been fighting for a while and sought after that 145-pound belt? How did that night finally feel for you?
Felt like I belonged as a champion for a while, and I finally got to prove that. Faced a little bit of adversity, like getting blasted in there, but you know what? I handled it like a champion does. Got my hand raised, got the belt.
Of course, man. Since that title fight, you went on and moved on to the UFC, but nobody has fought for that 145-pound title since. Does that still make you the current Cage Titans featherweight champion, or is it technically vacated since you went to the UFC?
I believe it's still mine. It's hanging up on my wall. It's mine. Ain't no one taking that.
There you go, man.
I don't know who's competed at 45, so maybe there's some talks about defending it, but right now, come back, get a nice fight at 150, eating good, and we'll see from there. I got a couple weeks to get this fight in, get this one under the belt, get back on the right track, and we'll see what the next move after that is.
Of course, man. Of course. I know you got your eyes set on that UFC return. Let's talk about your stint in the UFC a little bit, man. I know you went in there, got that fight versus Sodiq, the one that kind of got you into the show. Obviously, the fight didn't go your way, but how did it feel, making that walkout, putting the gloves on for the first time, seeing yourself in the UFC fight kit? How did that feel, kind of seeing those like an item off your bucket list has kind of been checked off?
It wasn't a bucket list thing. I feel like I belong there. And the fight with Sodiq, it couldn't have been the worst timing. Like as stay ready as you could possibly be. I was not. I took a fight coming off an injury, and I felt so bizarre going into that fight. Like I was super bloated. Like I didn't feel good. I had no time to game plan or anything. So it was literally like fucking kill yourself to make weight. No one thought I was gonna make weight. I made weight and fucking that was the real fight essentially. But I go in there and I get fucking starched. And I'm like, this fucking sucks. Like, what do I even do? And going in there like that, it was the fucking worst. I hope my last fight I got to prove who I was and that I belong there. Ultimately, they ended up letting me go. But you know what? I'm gonna fucking keep starching people on this regional scene until I get back.
Of course, man. I know you're always looking for the next win, always looking for the next fight. That's why everybody, is in love with you and your style, and we all love to watch you fight, man. So let's talk about that fight versus Jack a little bit, man. I know your first fight, you were over there at Glory MMA. The whole stuff goes down with Glory. You can't train there anymore. You got to come back home, pick up the pieces, and get ready to go out to Australia. What was that time of your life kind of like for you?
Oh, it fucking sucked. That all happened mid-fight camp. So I just accepted the fight. I think I was like 10 weeks out, trained for like 2, 3 weeks, and all that unfolded right after I accepted the fight. So I had to make a decision. I ended up moving cross country, having to change gyms, change coaches, change everything. Fucking come back home, try to put together as best a fight camp I had. I didn't have the resources that I had in Missouri, which sucked. But I went out to Missouri and I gave it literally everything I have. And I think I got to prove and show who I was as a human being. That fight, I went in there. I was in shape. I was mentally prepared. I had a game plan, unlike the Sodiq fight. But, there were so many things going on. The last thing you want to do mid-fight camp is move fucking cross-country, switch gyms, teams, and all that. But you know what? It's no excuse. I think that's a very winnable fight under different circumstances. I think I could have won that fight, but it is what it is. Fuck it and move forward.
Definitely, man. That fight was a very entertaining fight on both sides for the entire 3 rounds. After that fight, even though the decision didn't go your way, did you feel like you had done enough to kind of secure yourself, another fight inside the UFC?
You know what? Like, I didn't know, right? Like, obviously, you never want to lose.
Mm-hmm.
When you stay in, that's kind of the premise. Or don't say anything really fucking stupid,
Right.
right? When you stay in, and I didn't win, and I can't be mad that they released me, but I'm gonna do everything I can to get back there. And if it's with the UFC, fucking awesome. If it's with Bellator, awesome. If it's with ONE FC, awesome. If it's with PFL, awesome. It opens more doors for me. Things change a little bit. I think I know more what I need as an athlete as far as training and everything goes, and I know where to go to get that now. So
Definitely, man. Fighting aside, how was that trip out to Australia? It's a beautiful country, a place that is number one on my list to visit. How was the trip out there, man? I know you ended up spending a lot of time out there post fight. Just talk about the trip a little bit, man. How was Australia as a country, and how did you have a lot of fun out
yeah,
there?
Australia is the best place ever, dude. It's fucking beautiful there. The weather's amazing. The people are amazing. The food's amazing. The air fucking smells better.
Mhm.
I don't know how long you could go there for, but fucking go.
Right,
Like the flight sucks, but it's
of
the
course.
flight. So I think I flew LA, Boston to LA to Sydney, Sydney to Perth. And I'm not gonna go there for fucking 4 days and make that trip back. You spend more time flying there than you did coming back. Luckily, I had a family friend that lived in Sydney, so when the UFC booked my flight, I just told them like, hey, let's just book me a flight from Sydney back home on these dates, and they're pretty cool about it. So I stayed with a family friend. I didn't have to spend any money as far as renting a hotel or anything like that. So it was super cool to experience what I got to experience. 15,000 people fucking screaming racial slurs at me, and not even racial, like sexist. Like, dude, I was getting called every name under the sun. It was fucking awesome, dude. Fucking being in Australia was like being a fucking kid in the '90s, and all the fucking dumb shit that we used to say, like they were still saying. I'm like, oh fuck
Yeah,
yeah, this is awesome.
like some Call of Duty lobby type shit.
Some shit that would get you fucking shadow banned on Twitter.
Yeah, we don't need any of that. I saw that you after that fight, all the Australian fans, obviously they ride for Jack hard over there. A
Mhm.
lot of them were in your DMs and everything on Twitter, and you were kind of going back and forth with them a little bit, having a little bit of fun on the social medias for once. It's not really like you, but it was fun to see.
Yeah, it's funny. Like some of them were fucking chirping at me, and I thought it was hilarious. And some of them were like cheering me on, like, dude, that was a fucking great fight, man. Like, fucking keep going and shit. So, like, just as many people shit talking me were fucking like in my DMs, like, hey, fuck yeah, dude, that shit was awesome. Like, this is my first fight live. So it was really cool, really, really fucking cool. Just experience that place as a culture is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, man, I can only imagine. It definitely looked like I was following along on your social media, on your Instagram.
Mhm.
I know you were, posting a lot of stories and posts and whatnot. So I was sitting over here in New England, a little jealous of your extravaganzas over there
Yo, so
in Australia,
so
brother.
I wanted to piss off everyone back home because it was fucking snowing and cold and
Yeah, it was
winter, and
cold as
out there
shit
it
over
was like
here.
fucking sunshine and rainbows.
I know, man. I know. I remember I was messaging you a few times. And I was like, bro, when are you coming home, man? Are you gonna be out there forever, man? Because you were out there for a good amount of time. I was very jealous.
Mm. I spent the full month of February out there.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. All right, man. Let's talk about this next fight that you got coming up, Cage Titans
Do it.
60. It's a big one for you, man. Your first fight back in the regional scene. How's the fight camp been though? Since you've had to, move back to New England full time. What kind of fight camp have you put together for yourself, and how's everything going for you now that you're back in New England?
So before I got released, I went out to Vegas. I went out to Vegas, check it out, and I'm
Mhm.
like, all right, let's see what the PI is about. I got all my testing done. They gave me all my results, everything, and then I came back home just because I had a flight back home. Tried to reorganize some stuff. And then my friend has a condo out there that they let me stay at, which is super, super nice of them while I'm out there. And they're like, the deal with that is like, hey, respect my place, don't fuck it up. But it stays unoccupied pretty much year round until they want to use it. So they're like, look, you could use it from these dates. We want it on this date. So I
Right.
spent like 5 or 6 weeks out there up until they wanted to use a condo. And it's one of those things where I was like, I got super lucky with not having to pay for, all I had to do really was pay for my flight and my training. But it exposed me to, like, there's more than what there is in New England. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's really the fight capital of the world, Vegas is, and I think that's going to be a place that I spend a lot more time in the future. Just because the quality of training, the consistency of the training, the minds around the game, the talent there. And then also, like, opportunity wise too, like, you think about it, it's like, look at the Jack Della Maddalena fight that happened this weekend. They took a short notice fight against some dude, right? And that dude, I'm not, I should give this guy a shout out because, like, dude, it takes fucking balls to take a short notice fight. I know, I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the worst thing could ever fucking possibly happen. He didn't pass his medicals. He had something going on with his CT scan or his brain scan. So that leaves Jack Della Maddalena fucking on the shelf, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say I fought at 170 and I was ready to make weight on
Right.
that event. Like, there would have been a good possibility that I could have been fighting that night. Now, I'm just using that as an example because
Right.
obviously it's the complete wrong. It's not even close to the right weight,
Yeah,
But,
just
like,
hypothetical,
those
because that
type
stuff
of
happens all the time.
opportunities happen all the time. So it's like just being there and ready. It's like, think about it like this, right? Like, I was actually thinking Jojo Giannetti was going to get the fight. I DM'd him because he announced that he got a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Jack Della Maddalena fucking opponent pulled out. I'm like, yo, did you get that fight? And I didn't hear anything back from him. So I'm like, maybe he did get the fucking fight up
Right.
until the next day. But imagine if he was in Vegas and ready to make weight, like, he would have been fighting that night.
Mm-hmm. For sure,
So
man. It's
there's,
definitely the fight, like you said, it's the fight capital of the world.
mhm.
Do you have a specific gym out in Vegas that you would like to join full time and train out there full time? Because I know there's a
So I
couple.
checked out Extreme. I
Mhm.
checked out Syndicate. I really like Syndicate. Extreme was super cool. There was a ton of talent there. Um, there was almost too much talent there. Now, the things that I liked about Syndicate was, first of all, I spoke to John, the owner, and he was super fucking cool, and he was super open to working with me and kind of like gave me a rundown of how everything worked. But I liked the attention to detail. Like, I was able to go in there, right?
Mhm.
And I felt like there were eyes on me and I was getting coached. Where at Syndicate, like, I was just kind of like in there, like, no one really knew who I was. Excuse me. I mean, at Extreme, no one really knew who I was.
Right.
And like, I got working in with the good people, but it took a little bit to ease that. Now, I really like to check out Syndicate more of a longer term because I really like the attention to detail, the and focus that they had there,
For
and
sure,
the
man.
structure. Um, also, like, time of day matters to me too as far as training because first thing I want to do is I want to wake up, I want to do my morning routine, and then I want to go train. Right,
Hmm.
whether that's like wake up, take a shit, eat breakfast, whatever, my morning routine,
Hmm.
get my caffeine, and then I want to go train. Syndicate's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever time.
Right.
It's the morning time, right? Extreme is like 4 o'clock. So they're getting those nighttime sessions in. So,
Hmm.
if I'm gonna juggle working a side job and figure something out in Vegas to do something, I'd much rather work nights, wake up earlier in the mornings, bang my training out, and then go to work rather than go to work all day and fucking then train.
Yeah, man. Definitely makes sense. Definitely seems like
Mhm.
you have a plan in motion that you kind of see where the direction that you're going in, and you're kind of putting the pieces together to make that happen. But now, while you're home in New England right now, what's the training camp looking like specifically for this fight, for Cage Titans 60?
A lot of fucking driving.
Yeah.
Uh, that's kind of like the shitty thing about it in New England. Like, nothing's close,
Right.
nothing's convenient. The talent's all spread out. Uh, I'm at Citadel 3 nights a week. I'm at PTT 2 nights a week. I'll pop into Lozon, say what's up, maybe on a Saturday. I'm at. I want to give Pete Rapoli a big shout out. He's opened his doors to me at Elite Fitness in Stoughton. He
Hmm.
has another gym in Foxborough as well, but, like, he's been
Nice.
my personal trainer forever, and he's opened the doors for me. So whenever I'm in town, I get to bang out all my strength and conditioning with him personally, and then, like, I have access to do all my cardio on my own. So it's like
Right.
I'm shuffling around, because, like, Dude, I'll go to fucking Connor's basement, a mom's basement
Mhm.
in Mattapoisett on Sundays. I might pop into Lowe's on every blue moon on a Saturday, but it's pretty much like BTT for my grappling and my strickings at Citadel.
There you go, man. Yeah, we do have a lot of good facilities in New England as far as like where you're able to go. But yeah, like you said, everything is kind of spread out. So making your own fight camp and trying to put all those pieces together, obviously you're gonna have to do a lot of driving in that. So I'm sure that gets really annoying.
Oh, dude, it's the fucking worst. You know, one of the best things about Glory was practice was at 10 a.m.
Hmm.
We're done at 11:30. We might sit and talk till noon, right?
Hmm.
50 pros in the mat, 20 in the UFC every day. And it was an hour of drilling, 5 5 by 5s every fucking day. That's the morning classes. You got your night classes too. But that's Monday through Saturday, you know, and it
Right.
was just like the consistency and the grind. Where if you think about the rounds that you get here, it's like, all right, like let's say you go to one gym and their spar days on Friday night. And then it's like, all right, then you go to a different gym and their spar days on a Saturday.
Hmm.
You can't spar hard back to back. Like you can do less volume, more rounds over a period of time, but like, dude, when I go to like I kind of gotta pick and choose where I'm doing my rounds too, because
Right.
it's like one of these things where it's like, all right, for example, Citadel Friday nights, I'm getting 12, 13 rounds in,
Hmm.
right? That's fucking over an hour worth of work, like 5 minute rounds, 1 minute rest, like back to back to back to back.
Right.
Your body's fucking trash after that.
I'm sure.
Then it's like I gotta decide like if I want to go to Lowe's on Saturday, like they have great fucking work there. The issue I run into is like I just did 13 rounds the night before. My body hasn't had the proper rest and recovery to do another fucking 13 rounds the next day. So, you know, depending on how my body's feeling, who's gonna be in on what days, you know, figuring out your own camp's a fucking pain in the ass.
I'm sure, man. I can only imagine. All right, man. Let's get into it. Cage Titans 60. You're taking on Robert Wustig at a catch weight of 150 pounds. Overall, man, what do you know about this guy's game, and how do you feel about the matchup for you?
A lot of experience. You know, I watched this fight with Moa Kanani.
Mhm.
A lot of experience. I think that he was on his back foot a lot. But coming down in weight, I think that was mainly because Mo Al-Kanani's so tall and long. So I think he was like on his back foot a little bit. He seemed to initiate some of the grappling exchanges, which I don't think is going to work with me. But I'm going to go in there and do what I do. And fucking, I should fucking starch this guy and fucking prove everyone that why I was the best in New England, why I got in the UFC, and redo all of it over again.
How do you see this fight playing out for you? Where do you see yourself having the advantage here?
Striking, I definitely see myself having the advantage striking. I think I hit much harder. Um, he looks long and tall, so he's like 5'9", which I don't think is super tall, but it's a lot taller than me.
Hmm.
So I think he's going to be a little bit longer, try and play that game. And if I could get in, uh, I couldn't imagine him wanting to grapple with me, but I'm ready to go to the ground with it too. But I'd love a fucking knockout.
Of course, man. Of course. What were the options for you when you came back to New England and you were ready to get another regional fight? Were there any other names on the table for you? Were there any other options, or was this the one at 150 that you were just like, okay, this is the one?
No, like I was really on the fence if I wanted to fight again so soon,
Hmm.
right? And like they offered me some stupid fucking names at 155, and I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this right now? Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. And then they gave me this name, and you know, I didn't know who he was. I looked him up, and I'm like, you know what? For this fight, nothing more than I want is to go in there and have fun again. I don't I don't need to fight a fucking killer right now. That's going to be my next fight. I
Hmm.
want to get back on the right track. I want to get back in the winning column. I want to get back to everything I'm doing. And then I want to go back to fucking collecting belts because I don't got the Combat FC belt. I don't have the CES belt. I got Cage Titans. I got FAC, but I don't have LFA. I don't have CC fucking whatever. You know, I don't have the Fury.
Hmm.
I'm going to go back to start and collect belts. But you know, there's no need for me to go from fighting in Australia being injured to fighting a fucking killer for another belt for 25 minutes for $700. Fuck that. You know, I'm gonna fight those guys, but it's gonna be on my time.
Definitely, man. I know the last time we spoke before you got into the UFC, you were very much on the same hunt, looking to collect as many belts as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to hear that you're back on that hunt again to get you back into the big show one more time. Do you have your eye on any other championship belts or any other championship matchups that you've looked at in the region? Or is there anything particular or anybody particular that's kind of stands out to you?
The answer is yes, but I don't want to even fucking like play into this and fucking talk about my thoughts
Mm-hmm.
publicly just because I have a task at hand and I can't overlook this guy.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like I'd be a fucking idiot if I was overlooking anyone because at the end of the day, people forget a fight's a fucking fight.
Mm-hmm.
Records don't fucking matter. This guy's got more fights than me. It's still a fucking fight. And I gotta go in there and prove why I'm the best. So it's
100%,
like,
man.
yes, there are names that I'm looking at. Yes, there are matchups that I'm looking at. Yes, there are belts that I'm looking at. But I can't fucking overlook this guy. This guy's a fucking world killer to me.
100%, man. I love the energy. Cage Titans 60, July 22nd. What can the fans at Plymouth Memorial Hall expect from the return of Shameless Don Shainis, man?
I'm gonna go out there and have some fun, man. It's gonna be a breath of fresh air. It's gonna be great to see all my friends again. It's gonna be great to be cheered. It's the first time I've been cheered in over a year. It's pretty fucking cool. So everyone booed me pretty hard, but I don't give a fuck. Yeah, man, I'm just gonna go out there and have fun, be me, and fucking rock out with my cock out, I guess.
Always, man. Always. I know you are the king of moving tickets at Plymouth Memorial Hall. So are we going to see another big Shameless Don Shainis crowd inside the hall?
It's gonna be big. It's not gonna be my biggest. I've had 3 weeks to promote this shit. Like to me, this is a short notice fight.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had 3 weeks to promote this shit. I'm like, it's not gonna be my biggest, baddest bang, but it's gonna be a step in the right direction.
Hell yeah, man. I love to hear that. Before I get you out of here, man, anything you want to say, anything you want to plug to the people before I let you go?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to all my sponsors. Right now, I've kind of rechanged the game and how I'm doing sponsors, and I want to thank everyone that's jumped on board. First and foremost, my tattoo artist, Miss Fox. Go check her out on Instagram. She's fucking dope. She's gonna be working on a sleeve of mine. So I want to give her a huge shout out. I also want to give a shout out to Two Fight Bros. Those guys are fucking awesome. They're jumping on the Shameless bandwagon,
Hell yeah.
as well as Davencorp. They're a longtime sponsor of mine. Jake Moe's another longtime sponsor of mine. And yeah, so I'm just getting the ball rolling with sponsors. And once I fill out my 10 sponsors for the year, I'm going to be making you merch. So after this, I'm hoping that everything's lined up where I'm going to be creating a website and keep this fucking ball rolling and then have some merch that everyone can just click the link, boom, grab your merch, and it should be fire.
Hell yeah, man. I love to hear that. I've been wearing out my Shameless Nation red, white, and blue shirt, man. So I definitely need a new one. This one's getting a little worn out.
4th of July, right? The perfect shirt for 4th of July.
That's what I'm saying, man. I've been rocking it crazy in July, man. So I need to meet some new Shameless Dawn merch to start rocking for the fall and the winter, man, for sure.
Well, I'm talking to Sam Norris, my tattoo artist. I'm gonna talk to her about like coming up with a new fucking design that's gonna be dope. From my next logo. I got something in the works. I don't know if I want to run with it yet. I got a couple other ideas. I made a whole fucking design just in case I got on this UFC Boston card before I got cut. I got fucking cut. I'm not getting on the card. Slight chance that I still am. I might fucking run it. We don't know. I'm putting that one on the back burner. I want to come out with something that people are going to love, rock, and fucking keep rocking and wear the fuck out till the shit's all faded and whatnot, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Don, I appreciate you, man. It's always a blast getting to talk to you, whether it's on an interview or in person at the hall. Every time we run into each other, it's always love. So I appreciate you coming on the show once again, man. I'll see you July 22nd inside the building. I'll give you a big hug, maybe even a kiss if you're lucky.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Don.
much.
Yes, sir. Mouth
down for the count and he can't even talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.